Tyler Ortega, Scott Jeter, our fan of the week, Kimbry Temple here, joining me. And guys, going up against the New York Jets this week.
Hey.
I know we were just talking about it now during the commercial break. I noticed Kimbry is wearing her Jet green
I do this
here
every week, I think. Right. It's not good, and it's definitely not intentional. I almost wore blue.
Yeah. I'm sure they believe that.
Right.
Let me tell you what the New York Jets bring to the table here in this week's edition of the Scouting Report. The Jets come into this one 8-5. They are 2-2 in the AFC East. As we'll get these division standings up here for you. The Patriots at 11-2, leading the division. The Jets 8-5, as I said. Bills 6-7, and the Dolphins now 5-8, following that loss to the Giants on Monday Night Football. And these Jets come in riding a 3-game winning streak. They've scored 91 points over the last 3 games, which is good for the 5th highest point total in the NFL over the last 3 weeks. So the Jets clearly have no problem scoring. They've scored 17 points in every single game this year. Yeah. And last year, they failed to hit at least 17 in 6 of their 16 games. So the Jets are more than capable of scoring the football.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
And another thing that these Jets do really well is they spread the wealth. They have 3 really good receivers. They have Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, and they even have a running back that gets out there and catches passes, Bilal Powell. Over the last 3 games, Brandon Marshall has 27 catches, Decker has 20, and Powell has 15. Those are just absurd numbers for a running back. And we'll show you the film here. As I was saying, I mean, you have Brandon Marshall down low and Eric Decker in the slot. Fitzpatrick finds Decker splitting the secondary. And not only can they throw the ball, they have a running back. We were just talking about him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Chris Ivory, I'll go as far as to say he is a top 5 running back in the NFL this year. Over 900 yards, 7 touchdowns already.
Yeah, and that's actually, that's what we were just talking about. Statistically, I mean, he's got, 217 touches this year, 4th most in the league, 5th most yards out there. I think he's behind Adrian Peterson, Todd Gurley, Latavius Murray, and the only other guy he's behind is the muscle hamster, man. I mean, that's pretty good company up there, man. So he's getting it done. Yeah, these guys, they have the ability to pound the ball, absolutely.
It's going to be a tough game, so I've told you what the Jets bring to the table. Now let me tell you how to beat them in this week's edition of T.O.'s Keys to the Game. My first key to the game here this week is going to be force turnovers. The Jets have been really good in this 3-game winning streak at not turning the ball over. Ryan Fitzpatrick has gone 123 consecutive pass attempts without throwing an INT.
He's due.
This here was the last turnover by the Jets, a Chris Ivory fumble. This was over 2 weeks ago when they played the New York Giants. So the Jets, very, very good at protecting the ball. And on the other side, Dallas, last in the league at forcing turnovers.
Well, yeah, like I said, they're due. They have a really good offensive line, is what it is. If we can get out there and we got to get pressure. I mean, what do we get? 5 sacks on Brady in the first half of one game. We've got to come out here we've really got to start out coaching people, man. We have to have a game plan for these guys. If we don't get pressure on Fitzpatrick, we're in a lot of trouble.
And like you said during commercial, Scott, they're doing this all with a backup quarterback.
Yeah, with a backup quarterback, man. I mean, this is what's killing me. Is this is our recipe? You know, we have a big #1 receiver, just like they do. Terrence Williams. I mean, he's a good receiver in my opinion, man. He was killing. He had a really good camp. I thought he was going to have a better year this year, and if Romo was in, he would have. So they have those guys pound the ball just like we did last year, and it's all with a backup quarterback. So. It goes to show that what you can do, you know?
Yeah, and you just said it. Pound the ball. That's going to be my next key to the game here. Keep feeding Darren McFadden. We saw it on Sunday against the Packers. Hopefully we see it Saturday night against the Jets. Yeah. Darren McFadden on Sunday had 9 carries for 111 yards, ladies and gentlemen. 9 carries.
Yeah, why is this guy not touching the ball more?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the game on Sunday, and, you know, for the life of me, I just couldn't figure out why they kept going back to Castle. As we said, his throws were high. He was holding the ball too long.
Way too long.
And Darren McFadden had, you know, the first drive, we saw a 50-yard run.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he's got another one, like a 47-yarder later on in the game or something, like, you know, to that nature. So, I mean, he was getting holes. You know, we were able to exploit that defense. And 9 touches, I mean, come on. He should have had 9 touches in the first quarter, man. You know what I'm saying?
Easily, especially after that first drive. You know, first drive,
absolutely.
I think it was like 60 yards. after the very first drive. So for the life of me, like I said, cannot figure out why the Cowboys kept going back to Castle. And my last key to the game this week is going to be protect Matt Castle. These New York Jets are keen at sacking the quarterback. Last week, they faced Marcus Mariota, the Tennessee Titans. They sacked him 5 times.
Yeah.
And one guy, Muhammad Wilkerson, had 3 sacks by himself. And Wilkerson has just been on a tear over his last 5 games. He has 7 sacks. And going back to that game last week against the Titans, the Jets held Marcus Mariota, one of the most prominent scrambling quarterbacks that we have now in the NFL. They held him to 3 rushing yards.
And if you can do that, that's trouble for the Cowboys. I'm worried, but I have every hope that the Cowboys will make a game plan like Scott said and follow through with it.
Well, Scott, what would be your game plan for the Cowboys this week?
Honestly, this is a tough test. I mean, every week that I've come into this show, I've found a way to say, hey, man, this is how we're going to win. This one's going to be tough. I mean, they have a great secondary. This is what we were talking about. So to help McFadden out and to get these kind of holes and to pound that ball, you've really got to start airing that ball out. You've got to make him respect the pass. And what are you going to throw against Revis, Matt Castle?
Yeah.
Already nervous against other teams, is going to have a really difficult time airing it out this week, which means they're going to be able to load the box. They're going to be able to stop our run. Honestly, on paper, we're going to get killed here, man. So what do? Go for broke. We have nothing to lose. Absolutely throw that. I mean, throw 3 interceptions. Who cares, man? Just, get it done. Stop playing conservative. Go out there and challenge these guys. If you don't do it, man, you got no shot to win.
Yeah, I hope Dez packed his bags. He's going on a little vacation this week to Revis Island. We'll be back with our Game Ball MVPs and predictions for next week coming up in segment 4 of the Cowboys Fan Show.
Let it snow, when we finally kiss goodnight.